Thank you very much. I'm Linda Gravani. This is the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council meeting. It's a special meeting. Today is October 22, 2022, and it is 10:06 in the morning. Thank you so very much for everyone attending. We have a lot of things to discuss this morning. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to do a couple things with the vote count, etc. So please bear with me. So I do want to welcome our stakeholders. I appreciate you coming to voice your opinions as well. So the meeting is come to order and chat has been disconnected because any conversation needs to be open and in public. So I'm going to take roll call. James Brown is not here. Michael Cortez.
Here.
Ruth Doxey.
Here. Am I a panelist? I don't see myself.
We don't see you either, but you are a panelist. Jasmine Garcia is not here. Linda Gravani is here. Lydia is not here. Gary Kay.
Here.
Danica Middleton is not here. Jared.
Here.
Thank you. Alan Nelson is not here. Carol Newman.
Here.
Jeremy Pisanic.
Here.
Linda Schwerin.
Here.
Jim Stein.
Here.
We have 9. We have quorum. Thank you very much. This is a special meeting, so it does not affect attendance for the board members. Number 3, poll board to determine if any board member has a conflict of interest on any agenda item. I need to go through this. I'm sorry. So Michael Cortez, do you have any conflict of interest on anything that's on the agenda?
Not that I see.
Ruth Doxey?
No.
Linda Gravani's a no. Gary Kay?
No.
Jared?
No.
Carol Newman?
No.
Jeremy Pisanic?
No.
Linda Schwerin?
No.
Jim Stein?
No.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Number 4, discussion of possible action to adopt the October 22, 2022 agenda. Meeting time is under constraints. One of our board members needs to leave by 11:45. So I recommend that items number 16 and 17 be skipped since LA City Council has already voted and seated the new City Council President, Paul Krikorian.
Excuse me, Linda, I think you maybe misstated the agenda item numbers.
Oh, perhaps I did. Yes, I sure did. I apologize. I work from a draft and it doesn't really work. It really doesn't want to work. Okay, so it would be item number 22 and item number 23.
No,
I mean
23 and 24.
Thank you, 23 and 24. And 23 and 24. And does anyone want anything to move forward in case we don't get to it because we need to stop when we no longer have a quorum? Gary?
Nothing to change the order, just a few minor corrections when you're ready.
Sure.
Thank you. Item 16G, Owens is misspelled. Item 18, Owens is misspelled. And I believe that was it on my end. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Schwerin?
Yeah, I have a correction to number 31. MER expense report. It should be for the month of September.
Oh, apologies. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council approve the agenda as corrected.
Second.
Was that a second?
Second.
Okay, so Gravani and Jeremy. Linda Schwerin?
I'm sorry, my hand should have been down.
Okay. Michael Cortez, this is to adopt the agenda as corrected. Oh, Jared?
We move forward, I would suggest pushing up items 19, 20, 27, and 28. In case anyone has to leave early.
Okay, bear with me. Give me those again, please. Wait a second, I need my paper. Okay, which items, please?
19, 20, 27, and 28.
Okay. Where shall we put them?
I would say as close to the top as possible, since that's kind of the impetus for the special meeting.
It is and it isn't. This special meeting, this special meeting is really to replace the regular meeting. And since it's not during our regular time, it's called a special meeting. I would, personally, I would leave 19 and 20 where it is because these other things we have to do. We can move up 27 and 28 after number 20, if that's what you would like.
Yeah,
Is
just in
that-
case anyone has to leave, just so they can comment on it.
Does that work for everyone? Okay, so with those corrections, so I need to put 20, 27, 28. Okay. So the motion is still, we approve the agenda as corrected. Jeremy, do you still second?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Michael,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Gravani is a yes. Gary,
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin,
Yes,
Jim Stein. Jim Stein,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, we've got 9. A minute taker, I don't want to confuse you. I will send you my notes afterwards as well. Okay, number 5, discussion of possible action to adopt the minutes for June 4, 2022, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council meeting. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council approve the June 4, 2022 minutes.
Ruth
Second.
Doxy seconds.
Oh.
Okay, Gravani made the motion, Ruth Doxy seconded. Any discussion? Gina? You're muted, Gina, on your phone.
I'm fine.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
fine. I raised my hand in air. It was raised from previously. I have everything from the previous items, and right now it's Doxy is the second on this, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. But no,
Jim
and
Stein.
I raised my hand in air.
Okay, Jim?
Item 10C, $3 million was not for Jesse Owens Park. It was for the Sepulveda Basin.
Repeat the number.
10C.
Which, okay, it should be for what?
The Sepulveda Basin.
Thank you. Any others?
Not from me.
Okay, I move Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council approve the minutes of June 4, 2022 with the appropriate corrections. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Was that? I'm sorry, we did that, didn't we? But without the correction. So Ruth, do you second it still?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. Okay, Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani's a yes, Gary Kay,
Abstain due to not being at that meeting.
thank you. Jared, oh, you weren't there either. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy, you weren't there either. Linda Schwering
Yes.
and Jim Stein.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6 yays and 3 ineligible. Thank you. Number 6. Discussion and possible action to adopt the minutes for August 3, 2022. I move that Lake Balboa approve the minutes of August 3, 2022.
Second.
Sorry, who?
Second, Michael.
Michael, thank you. Any discussion? Perfect. Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Abstain.
Linda Gravani's a yes. Gary Kay,
Yes.
Jared, you weren't with us. Alan Nelson, Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
and Jim, you were absent then, so you're ineligible. Okay, 6 approve, 1 abstention, and 1 ineligible. Thank you. Number 7. Discussion and possible action to adopt the minutes of September 7, 2022 meeting. I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council approve the minutes of September 7, 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Was that you, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a correction. On page 1, it shows 2 residential seats that are open. It should actually be 2 organizational and 1 residential. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council approve the minutes as corrected. Jeremy, you still
Second.
second? Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, Michael,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani's a yes. Gary Kay,
Yes.
Jared, you were actually at that meeting.
I hadn't completed training yet, though, so am I eligible?
You can vote on it even though because it's not financial.
Then yes.
Thank you. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein,
Yes.
9 yeses. Thank you. I'm trying to be organized, everyone. It's not working out so well.
You're doing
Okay.
fine.
You're doing great, Linda.
Um, we are then now under number 8, announcements and reports. I do want everyone to know that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council has elections coming up on Sunday, June 18, 2023. Save the date, and we are looking for candidates and people to vote, just FYI. Number 8B, Gary Kay, Senior Lead Officer, update.
Unfortunately, my updates are no longer relevant.
Okay.
There are updates, but I'm not in a position to share them. It should come from LAPD at this point or James Brown.
Okay, thank you. Number 9, public comments. Please advise the neighborhood council if you are a registered lobbyist. Comments from the public on non-agenda items, issues, announcements, and complaints within the jurisdiction of the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. The state of California's Brown Act prevents the board from discussing your comments. You can also email your thoughts to the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council President, myself, at lindag@lakebalboanc.org. You have 2 minutes per speaker. Okay. Number 10, discussion and possible action regarding the resignation of Miguel from Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council effective 9/28/2022. Miguel forwarded his resignation. His job has changed a little bit. He has more evening requirements that he didn't have previously, and he's also going to night school. So it's really impossible for him to attend meetings and handle the land use committee. So unfortunately, we have no option. We have to accept his resignation, although I didn't want to. So this is just FYI. So that means we do have a vacant seat on the board as well. So discussion and possible action regarding chair of the land use committee. Is there any current board member that is interested for land use? I know we don't have a full board, but I just wanted to mention it just in case somebody has a burning desire.
I'm very interested in land use, but I don't know that I've been around long enough to maybe have the experience for it, but I would definitely toss my hat in for it.
Okay, very good. Linda Schwerin.
Thank you, Jared. I think that since we only have 9 attending today, that perhaps we should table this and revisit it at the November meeting.
Perfect. We shall table. Number 12, discussion and possible action regarding the hiring of a consultant for land use. I was chatting with the past land use chair, Tom Riley, and he said, well, maybe we need a consultant. So I checked with the city clerk to find out what we actually need to do. If we wanted a consultant, to pay for a consultant who would know the ins and outs of city rules and regulations. So what that requires is 3 quotes. They must have insurance, tax ID, business registration, certificate exemption, and so on and so on and so on. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council request done to provide a list of authorized land use consultants for Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council's use.
Second,
Is that you, Jim?
yes.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes,
Ruth Doxey?
Do we have any idea how much it costs?
That would all depend on what the contract is.
Okay, thanks.
I just don't think Lake Balboa should be looking at all of this. I think a city entity should be getting a contract that they need to vet and make sure they follow all the rules and regulations that are required. I just need some clout for us to say, okay, done, get us one. Whether we use it or not is immaterial at this particular point. Linda Schwerin?
I have a question, and this is because on the agenda for this particular item, it just says hiring a consultant. So to clarify, what we're speaking of is a consultant for
For
land.
land use.
Okay, thank you.
Jim?
Do you happen to know whether any other neighborhood councils presently use a consultant in this capacity?
There are none listed on Dunn's list. So it would need to be sanctioned by Dunn. Just like we have translators, there's a list of translators, there's a list of minute takers, etc. I would like a list of consultants.
Thank you.
Jared?
Do we know if the city would foot the bill for something like that, or would it come out of the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council budget?
It would probably come out of our budget. But if we don't have the expertise and we don't have a land use committee, we don't get a say in land use issues. Gary?
Also, just for clarification, was former Chair Tom Riley making the suggestion of the recommendation solely, or is he also in a position that he potentially wants to be that consultant? I'm just looking for
No,
clarification.
he doesn't. He didn't identify that he would. Actually, what he did identify is that Council District 6 had the person that was in charge of the land use issues has retired. And he said, oh, somebody like he would be a good person who would know the city and would know the rules and regulations. And if we could get someone to consult with us to help us understand the ins and outs of the rules and regulations, that would be great. So that's why I thought, oh, okay, well, let's see if we can get a consultant, whomever it might be.
Thank you for the clarification.
Sure. Any other comments? No. Okay, let's see. This one was item number 12. Thank you. Okay, so I made the motion, Jim Stein seconded, and I will take a vote. Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
I'm a yes, Linda Gravani, Gary Kay,
Yes.
Jared Negron,
Yes.
thank you. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin,
Yes,
Jim Stein,
Yes.
thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we've got unanimous. Thank you. Okay, number 13, discussion and possible action regarding land use basics for future projects. Gwen Flynn is a committee member of the land use committee and has asked a couple times that there be a list of our requests when we do land use. And I don't expect that we would do it today, but I do want us to think about for a future meeting, what is it that is protocol for us? We've had a couple 7-Eleven type entities that wanted to come in, and that was fine, except they wanted a beer and wine license, and that wasn't fine for the land use committee because currently we're within, I think he said, like a half a mile of a place where we could purchase beer and wine, that we didn't need to have one on every corner. That if there's somebody that's going to have music at their facility, what is the time that we say, okay, you cannot have it past whatever time it might be in this particular area, it would disturb the residents. Or if, you wanted some other kind of zone variance. And I think it's a great idea because sometimes we say yes and sometimes we say no to various things and there's no rhyme or reason. So the idea is to get some protocols in place so that we can be uniform and we say this is what we want for our community, and we stick to it. I'm going to ask Gwen. I see Gwen is here. Hi, Gwen. Can you unmute?
You hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
I hope you can't see me.
I know we can't see you.
Yes, so thank you for bringing this up, Linda.
Can you speak a little clear, a little closer to your mic?
Yes, thank you for bringing this up. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically, I'm asking for standards. And I think this is something that I guess I didn't originate it. I heard Carol Newman at one point talk about that as well. So we're talking about standards that can be applied, you know, for any applicant that wants to come into Lake Balboa. Linda talked about like the hours of selling alcohol, for instance, and have, you know, those kinds of things apply. I've also got some other ideas, but this is the gist of it.
So I totally agree, and I think the board would probably agree. And that would have to really go through the land use committee, but I do want you to start thinking about what it is, what protocols, what our bottom line is, so that when something does come to the land use committee, when it's operational, that we're saying the same thing to every vendor. That it's not a surprise that this time we say, oh yeah, it sounds good, and vote for it. It's not a good way to operate. So I really appreciate that Gwen has brought this up. I'm sure it was 2 or 3 times, and that, as you mentioned, Carol did previously. So I'm going to put this on a future agenda, but I want us to start thinking about it, and please send to me, not to all, but just to me, what your thoughts are so that we can compile it and have the land use committee go through it and make recommendations. So we'll move on. Thank you. Number 14, discussion and possible action regarding Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council's open board seats. We've had these seats open for a while. We have 2 organizational seats, and now with Miguel gone, we have 1 residential seats. The requirements are listed on the agenda as well as in the bylaws. I won't go through it now, but I do need to identify that we do have 3 seats that are vacant. Number 15, discussion and possible action regarding Civic University. Department of Neighborhood Empowerment required us to vote on who our participants would be, and there were none. And then it was determined that Jared was able to attend since it was virtual, but we didn't have time to take a vote on it. Department of Neighborhood Empowerment said, okay, yeah, it's okay. Just make sure you vote for it on your next agenda. So this is our next agenda. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council authorize Jared Negron to participate in Civic University.
Second,
Go ahead.
Okay, number 15, I made the motion. And Gary, were you the second? Who was the second?
I did.
Who's I? I'm sorry.
Jim Stein.
Oh,
Jim.
Jim.
I'm sorry. I can't recognize voices when I'm thinking of something else, so I need you to let me know who you are. Thank you. Any discussion, Linda Schwerin?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I missed something on this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, you can. Okay. I should have put my name in earlier. I've already attended 2 of the Civic U sessions, and of course I'd be willing to continue, but you didn't have my name on the list. So I don't know if that means you can add me or if there's any action you can do tonight.
Yeah. So let's change. Okay, so the motion will be that I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council authorize Jared Negron and Linda Schwerin to participate in Civic University. Jim, will you still second?
Sure. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes, Gary Kay,
Yes.
Jared Negron,
Yes.
Carol Newman.
I vote yes, but I also want to say I see Danica in the list of attendees now, if you want to move her over.
Okay, I'll have to wait because I'm in the middle of this. Jeremy, Jeremy, you're muted.
Oh, Jeremy?
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein,
Yes.
9 yeses. Thank you. Okay, it is 10:37. And Danica has joined.
I moved her over.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so number 16, discussion and possible action regarding possible Rec Park Brown Act violation on July 12, 2022. Recommended cure by a neighborhood council city attorney, Eilette Feynman. What actually happened was Jim's agenda didn't have all the correct information for the Zoom. And it was brought to the attention of the committee that it was unfair to continue on with the meeting because not everyone had the sign-in information. And of course, now I don't have my paper in front of me. And Daniel, our done rep, recommended that we stop the meeting, that we not continue. At that particular meeting, we actually had 19 people participating. Normally there's 5, 6, or 7. There were a lot of speakers, there were a lot of folks, and Jim was really disheartened that we would have to stop. So I said, well, let's continue on with the meeting, hear what the people have to say, and not have any votes, not do any business at that meeting, because it was very well participated, even though the phone number was the sign-in information was not totally correct. So that really is a Brown Act violation because we really can't discuss anything unless the public is able to participate. So in order to cure that, I need to ask the public, not the board, but the public, public comment on recycled water beyond Bull Creek at the dog park. No action is to be taken. What actually is that in the past, I don't know, I've been on the neighborhood council for 10 years or so. So I would say at least 8 or 9 years, we're trying to get the quote purple water over to the dog park. The purple water is recycled water from Tillman, and Tillman is over by Lake Balboa itself. And it stops there. It's multiple millions of dollars. The difficulty is that it crosses over Bull Creek, which is an issue. Who maintains Bull Creek? It's federal, it's state, it's city, it's county. Everybody's in the entity, everybody's in the mix. So there's lots of balls in the air that have to be taken care of. So that was discussed. Is there any public comment from any of the attendees on this item? Stacy?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was just wondering, I was at that meeting, so I already all recall all the content, but I was actually wondering if all of those 19 people or those that were not actual board members were specifically notified of this meeting so that they could participate and engage in this process. If that was the intent, you know, it seems like those particular people should have been notified, because I don't know that all of them get the LBNC specific agendas. So I was just curious if that step was taken. Thank you.
No, we followed the Brown Act and published it the way it is required to be published. Steve Leffert. Steve, we can't understand you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I thought originally that the purple water lines were going to follow all along the orange line bus route, and therefore would already be crossing Bull Creek and running west from the Tillman plant. So I'm just wondering what happened, where that pipeline is, that it couldn't be tapped as it runs along the orange line, route, because that was supposed to lead the supply of the water for the vegetation along the orange line.
Oh, that's interesting. I never heard that before.
Well,
Jim?
I'm on the board. I'm a little more senior on that, being on the board from 2004. So, yeah.
Okay. Actually, one of the people that were there was from, and I don't have the agenda in front of me with the information, but he
Richard
said,
Campbell.
oh, yeah, Campbell. He says, oh, that's the first I heard of it. So the city is a multitude of places where you can get information, but it's very difficult to find the right people. Number B was also discussed, public comment on Friends of the Dog Park's displeasure
Linda?
that they.
There was another raised hand I see from Miriam Pressel.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there you are, Miriam. I apologize. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, thanks. I just want to comment on the many years ago, Michael Aceveda with the DWP came and presented the schedule, and the dog park was on that schedule. 2017, I think, we were supposed to get the reclaimed water. I did get an email from him, and he said he had moved on to another position, but there were two people that have taken over, and I gave everybody their names. I don't know if anyone has contacted them. They haven't responded to me. I think it might take someone like Jonah to, maybe have a meeting for you guys to approach that and find out what, why and what's happening. But those were the guys, and I offered up those names last time. Did anyone contact them? Jim?
I don't think I can comment. I don't know. Can I?
No, you can't answer public comment.
I'm talking about agenda item. So
Yes, I know you are, Miriam, but I don't know if I can comment on this.
Yeah, go ahead, comment.
Yes, I sent emails to them. They did not respond. I sent emails to Richard Campbell, and he's trying to find out who's responsible for it now, and I'm waiting for his reply.
All right, well, should we have Jonah look at it and contact them if they're not responding to us?
If he doesn't respond back in a reasonable amount of time, I'll certainly talk to Jonah. Jonah is part of the email chain that I send.
And I'm not? I gave you the names and contacts.
Well, why should I? I'm not trying to cut you out of this, Miriam, but I'm trying to find out their names. I'm not, why should I send?
I gave you their names and contact information.
Yeah, I know, and they're no longer in it.
Okay, we'll keep you in the loop, Miriam.
Thank you.
Okay, B, public comment on Friends of the Dog Park's displeasure that they did not receive funds for upgrades, and why did Jesse Owens Park receive funding? No action to be taken. So, Miriam, you may wish to speak to this as well. I don't know about when I was new on the neighborhood council, we had discussed that we needed to do something to get water at the dog park and make sure that the grass was there and upgraded. And it's an ongoing battle. It's like a stepchild, if you will. Again, it's the part of the difficulty is the city keeps saying we don't have funds for this, we don't have funds for that, we don't have people for this, we don't have people for that. And unfortunately, stuff happens and it just seems to go in a circle. Miriam?
Yeah, it's the DWP that was putting the investment in. So, and they were very anxious to do as much recycled water as possible back then. So you never know what changes. On the public comment, the way this is phrased, it really looks like I resent what the Jesse Owens success, and I don't. I am heartened by the fact that this is going through and there's community involvement and support. So yeah, I'm disappointed that our park is not getting the attention, especially since Michael Scholl has retired. My dog just had pneumonia and my vet said, yeah, the dust at our park could have caused my dog. The dogs with weak immune systems and people in that park, it is really a cesspool. And the pipes are breaking because they haven't seeded them. When they seed, they redo the irrigation or check it. So I think the Jesse Owens Park is terrific and I want to do everything I can to support that. So I think that I want to make sure that I didn't come across as and I know some of that money is K money, Prop K. So I just want to make it clear that we're excited about this and we support it. And but you know, we would like our park to get the attention it needs and whatever funding. And I appreciate your pushing on this, Linda. You've been a champion of the purple line since I can remember. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Sharon Brewer?
Yeah, hi. I was going to do my hand for about the purple pipe and stuff on there, but, and I forgot to go and click on it, but just, the purple pipe was supposed to be put in when they did the orange line, when they were doing the cement and stuff like that way back then. And they didn't communicate, so it didn't go and end up getting there. The issue, obviously, with the dog park and the ongoing problems there, you need to get it, go to Miriam or anybody else needs to go and send a communication to Rec and Parks, be at their meetings and do public comment and ask them to put it on the agenda and stuff like that. So that there's a paper trail on what the issues are and stuff like that, and get other people to go and make comments also to them. And there probably is a way that Lake Balboa could do like a CIS or resolution. And, possibly if it ever gets on the agenda, go and use their time to Rec and Parks to be able to go and have a little more time on the issues at any park, but especially like the dog park. Thank you for recognizing me.
Thank you. Miriam, you've got your hand raised again, or is that still from before?
No. I'm just saying, are you recommending that we go to the the Recs and Parks Commissioners meeting and get on their agenda. Is that what you're recommending?
Can I answer, Linda?
Yeah,
I would
please
go
do,
and
Sharon.
basically, you can send a communications to the commission and
Yes,
then
yes, I
about
do.
the
I do
issue.
it all the
Right,
time.
but then go to their meeting and during public comment, go and have your ducks in a row, hun, and have other people go and make comments. I know that there's a problem with Dearborn Park, and Glenn Bailey with Northridge East went and talked about it at their meeting. So you need to go and be visible, paper trail, and stuff like that.
Well, I've been trying to work with the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council and the Parks Committee, and I've offered to join. And we've cleared up the boundary issue. So, you know, if this isn't a solution and I should go straight to the commission, you guys should let me know that.
We move on.
Yeah, we'll move on in a second. Sharon, you can put your hand down, please. Miriam, yeah. You've also in the past done petitions, and I will chat with you offline about what you can do. Number 16C, public comment on homeless encampment along the bike path south side of Victory Boulevard. No action to be taken. That was discussed by Jonah. Jonah was trying to clear up the homeless folks that were there. He contacted the folks that would offer services to them, and that is an ongoing issue. Any public comment on that? Thank you. 16D, public comment on cleaning of Balboa Boulevard median of weeds and shrubs. No action to be taken. What actually happened there was discussion was that the weeds are head high. You can't see over them. And when would they be cleaned? And Deanna, CD6 field rep, advised that she saw that the maintenance team was getting close or coming down the road. But to this day, it is still way high. Public comment on that? Thank you. Okay, public comment on Council File 22-0600-S20. I'm sorry, I'm a mess. With this council file, if somebody has it handy, I would appreciate it. The same thing for the next one. I've got too many things on my desk here. I apologize.
Linda, shall I read it?
Yeah, no, I found it. Thank you. Instruct the department of the fire department to report. Yeah, read that one for me. I have the wrong one. Was that Jeremy?
Yeah.
Please.
Adopted budget recommendation, instruct the fire department to report to the Public Safety Committee on potential partnerships with the Conservation Corps for brush clearance efforts and other outside entities that use goats to eliminate invasive and overgrown brush. This is pursuant to adoption of the mayor's 22-23 budget on May 18th, 2022.
Okay, so there were some speakers from Audubon and Native Plants saying how important it was for the goats to come and eat up the plants that are not native, and it was a good thing. Just to be clear, last year, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council voted funds for the goats, but that didn't go through with the city. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council support Council File 22-0600-S20.
Second,
Who?
Jared.
Thank you. This one is E. You said Jeremy?
Jared.
Was that the second or?
I believe that was Gary
Jared.
or
Oh,
Jared.
sorry, Jared. I thought I heard
That's okay.
Jared, and then I said, no, that sounded maybe like Jeremy. I apologize. We've already voted on this, so this is really a moot point, but I'm supposed to re-vote. So we've had discussion in the past. Is there any discussion by the attendees, the stakeholders? Okay. Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes. Gary Kay,
Yes.
Jared Nebron,
Yes.
Carol Newman.
Yes, but you skipped Danica.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Danica.
Yes.
I have these highlighted so it was easier, and I can't highlight Danica now. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein,
Yes.
we have 10. Thank you. No one's opposed. Okay, so we're on 16F, public comment on Council File 22-0600-S61. That's similar to the one we just did. It's instruct the Department of Rec and Parks to report to the Arts, Parks, Health and Education and Neighborhoods Committee on the feasibility of using wildlife, specifically goats, to support brush clearance activities in parks. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council support Council File 22-0600-S61.
Michael Cortez seconds.
Thank you, Michael. Ruth, comment?
When did Danica arrive? I don't remember hearing that she came.
At 10:37 a.m. Do you have any comment on the goats?
No.
Thank you. Okay, we also voted on this previously, so, but we're required, so we shall. Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes. Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton,
Yes.
Jared Negron,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein.
Yes.
Okay, we've got 10 yeses, motion's carried. Thank you. Okay, public comment, this is 16G, public comment on Jesse Owens Park statement of groundbreaking. The statement that was made during that meeting was the groundbreaking will begin on July 14, 2022. And this is no action to be taken. There wasn't any discussion. There wasn't anything. It was just a straight comment. Ruth, is your hand raised?
Sorry, that was from before.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any discussion by attendees? Okay. H. Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council President decision, discussion and possible action. This is something that I added. It's taken a lot of my personal time to handle this, and I don't mind, but it is something that was a decision that was made at the time. I know that Jim Stein would have stopped the meeting, and I said, let's continue on. So I take 100% full responsibility of us having to go through this. I did advise to continue, but no vote would be taken. And since there were 19 people present, I thought it was really a disservice, even though there was a glitch with the actual access. 19 people did get access. So I thought, okay, I'd make that decision. And knowing everything that I know today, since then, I would make the exact same decision, to be really candid. So with that in mind and with that knowledge, I think you, the board, need to know that. And that you may prefer that I not be the president any longer. So I'm going to give you the option of removing me if I'm not making the right decisions. So I move that Linda Gravani be removed as president of Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. And that was number 16H. Miriam.
I'd just like to say that I was at that meeting and we had several people from our board on the park, and I appreciated your decision.
Thank you.
It would have been a waste of time, and the discussion was valuable, even though you announced that no action could be taken and no votes could be counted. So I just want to put in my 2 cents.
Thank you. So the motion was made. Is there a second? Jim Stein?
Absolutely not. Linda, ultimately, the purpose of our organization is to try and serve our stakeholders. If some were not able to be there, I would like to take responsibility for not having prepared the agenda correctly. But since we had so many people there and so many questions could be answered, we were able to serve a great many people, and I think that's important.
Thank you. We can't have further discussion unless we have a second.
I don't see a second.
Okay, no second. No vote. Thank you. Okay, number 17, discussion and possible action regarding the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council Jesse Owens mini park event date. Jim Stein. And just as a clarification, the city of Los Angeles has another Jesse Owens Park. In the San Fernando Valley, this is the Jesse Owens Park to Reckon Park. But we need to call it mini park because it's small. And there is already a Jesse Owens Park. Jim?
I'd like to make a motion to I'd like to make a motion to reaffirm the $4,000 for the.
No, that's not this.
Is that
We're not
further down?
talking funding. We're talking about the date.
Pardon me. I'd like to make a motion to move the Jesse Owens mini park event date to December 3rd. It's a Saturday, December 3rd.
Danica Middleton seconds.
Thank you. Here's the issue. The mini park is not ready. We could have the event on the 29th like we want, and we can take our little children by hand and we can say, see, beyond that fence, that's where you're going to be able to play someday. But it's not going to be until December 2nd. There was a meeting with the Reckon Park royalty, if you will, from the city of Los Angeles. Everybody and their uncle was there finally. And we had this very nice discussion. We weren't there to throw stones, but we wondered why, since we knew since the 22nd of August that this event was going to happen on the 29th of October. And on October 6th, we found out for the first time that they were going to withdraw the permit for the event. So several got a really ticked, upset, unhappy. So we had a big discussion and a meeting with those folks to determine what the future was at that park. So we have several hands raised. Jennifer?
Hi there. Thank you guys so much for coming out to that meeting with Reckon Park. The community really appreciates all that you're doing to help us. And it is reasonable to, in my opinion, to move this event to December 3rd, which would be our wish as a community, to make sure that the park is safe for my neighborhood to attend an event. So I just want to thank you for continuing to work with the community on what we want and need for our park.
Thank you, Jennifer. Do you know, can you enlighten us about the vendors? One of the main concerns was that the vendors were commissioned to make cookies and sandwiches, and can that be postponed?
Yeah, I think Jim was contacting them directly because that involves council money, not community money. But
Okay,
as
Jim
far as,
Stein?
Yes, I contacted the vendors and and everything's taken care of. They haven't charged us anything. They'll hold off and we'll get
So
into
that can be postponed because that was a major concern. Thank
yes,
you.
we can get a new agreement.
Okay, Jared, and then Michael.
I think my concern with setting another hard date is that knowing the city and how it operates is that we'll likely have to push it again. And understanding the logistics of construction and project management, it will likely get pushed yet again. And doing that to our community and giving them another date and then another date and then another date, I think it would be more wise to just postpone indefinitely until we have a really concrete date of when it's going to be ready.
Thank you, Jim Stein. And then Michael, sorry.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, that's certainly a concern we had. That's why we were going to go ahead with since we had an agreement, we had an allowance from the city to have a event with light refreshments and speeches for the 29th. We thought perhaps it's better to go ahead with that because who knows what their date they're going to come out with. And after we had this meeting with commissioners and a number of recreation and park officials, they put a number of people in charge of it. If you've been by the place, there's there's an army of people working on it. They've done 3 weeks worth of work in one day. They might even have it done by the end of this week, but they've brought in somebody who's in charge of just seeing that this project is completed. He checks with me daily. And the date that they will have this done is December 2nd. That's a Friday. So we're going to go with December 3rd. I understand your feelings, but I'm quite sure they'll have it done. They think they're going to have it done early, somewhere around the 7th of November. So they're giving themselves another month just in case.
What you're not aware of, board members and attendees, is that the person that's in charge of that only heard about it when everybody got riled up and started sending messages and emails. So that person that's in charge of it was at that meeting and said, this is the date, December 2nd, it will be completed. Again, maybe it'll rain, maybe something else will happen. We don't know. But bottom line is they brought back 2 people for what they call 125 days. They were retired and they're bringing them back to handle this project. So we feel pretty confident. Michael?
I agree with Jared just about at least today publicizing a new date. Maybe we release that date at the board meeting coming up in November, which is actually a week and a half from now, just if further discussions, happen. I just, and also since a new date, Jim, if you want to put something together, because I've been promoting October 29th on social media, if you just want to say put a words together that I could publicize with a date change or cancellation for October 29th.
Yeah, I wanted to get a hold of you, but really I couldn't say anything because that would have been a Brown Act violation. I needed to have a date.
No problem.
Okay, thank
Sorry.
you. We're going to have to step it up. Miriam and then Jennifer.
I personally, I don't know if I missed it, but I didn't know about this meeting. Are there minutes to this meeting?
No.
Can you tell us who in Wrexham Parks you met with?
Jim?
Who didn't we meet with? I didn't even take names. I'm sorry. I met everybody, but if I couldn't tell you everybody's name if my life depended on it. You know Ramon Barajas. He's the person who we're working with.
That's the only name you have from the commissioners and
He's in charge of this thing.
Miriam, it wasn't a regular meeting. It was out there to see what was being done, what needed to be done. It was to take a punch list to find out how long it was going to take. So it wasn't a meeting to discuss anything other than to look around and see what needed to be done. And then given the date of December 2nd.
So you're saying that there is a meeting with the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council with Wrexham Parks. You don't have all the details. You don't have minutes, and
it wasn't a Brown Act meeting.
It would be the same thing, Miriam, if we were going to talk to Tillman about the purple water. You do have to do some things without it being an official meeting to find out details.
But the community,
unless that's the way we're going, maybe we need to have maybe we need to redo that.
Okay, I just you guys said you met with Wrexham Parks Royalty and the commissioners, and you only have one name. So you know, I would like to know who you met with.
I didn't write them all down. I'm sorry.
Jim, you have the email. I'm sorry. I guess we can't move on until we get this taken care of.
Let me minimize this and see if I can go to my emails and try and give you an idea.
Okay, while you're doing that, let's talk with Jennifer.
A couple things, and I know that Nate has his hand raised as well. This meeting was actually requested by Katie, myself, and Nate as community members with Rec and Park as part of our email campaign demanding action from RAP. They then responded to Katie, myself, and Nate saying that they would be glad to meet with us. And we took it upon ourselves to invite neighborhood council members that are on the park committee. As far as the date is concerned, the other thing I want to say is that moving it to December 3rd allows us to continue to press Rec and Park as a community to get the job done. We also need time to publicize the event. And if we push it out to a time that is undetermined, it doesn't allow our community to take hold of pushing and making sure that this event is going to happen at all. We have secured thousands upon thousands of dollars in donations for prizes for giveaways at this event as a community. And we are determined to have an event. And Jonah Glickman also told us that he will do everything in his power to make sure that this permit can be moved to December 3rd.
Thank you. Nate?
Yeah, and just I was one of the community members that actually attended this meeting. So talked to the project managers, talked to the deputy director of Parks and Rec, and you know, what started this meeting was an email campaign from all of your neighbors and community members that covered. I know the emails I sent went to the city administrator, the RAP commission, everybody I thought who could help us do this, and I wasn't alone. And that is what is driving this, and they are going to get this done by December 2nd. And I've been involved in major public works projects as well. But if we give them a blank check to get this done, without a due date, without giving us direction on when it's going to be done, it'll never get done. So you can see out there, and I live down the street from the park, they are already preparing to pour concrete. The action that's taken in the last few days is more than has happened in the last 30 days. So, you know, part of this is I don't accept that they're not going to get this done. And I think it was the deputy director of RAP said, you've absolutely got our attention. We're going to get this done because of this community uprising to get this park done. We're tired of having an unsafe park. And, you know, December, I would urge the council to approve a December 3rd date. This will get done. There's an army of neighbors behind you to have a great event and to do something really positive for the community.
Thank you. Stacy Rotter.
Linda, I swear it's like you can see at the most inopportune time to call on me. So a couple of things. I think it is, given everything that has gone on with this, with the trying to set a date for something before permits were secured, and we don't know if the permit is for sure going to be able to move to December 3rd. I think it is foolish, actually, to set a date for December 3rd. I wholeheartedly echo what Jared was saying. While with the best of intentions, everyone may be on board now that they're informed, what we can't predict is the uncertainty of supply chain issues and things like that that could impact delays or that could result in delays. So having a finish date of December 2nd, when, you know, I don't know if any of you guys have ever been involved in any kind of construction project, that even when it's done, you may find out that there's still something wrong. And so it seems very foolish to set it for the very next day. Not knowing about the permit situation seems to support that. And I am fully in support of this event happening, but it seems premature to set another date. I mean, you don't want to keep setting up the community and having to redo promotional materials. I'm so glad Jennifer didn't print her flyers before, you know, hopefully she still didn't, before this all came up. But I think would be silly to set a date, but you guys will do what you're going to do. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to cut off the discussion at this point in time. We still have a lot of things to cover, and it is 11:18. So there are those that think it's a good idea. There are those that think it's a bad idea. We've heard from the community and some board members, so I'm going to take a vote. So the vote is to postpone the event until December 3, 2022. Michael Cortez.
I agree on the postponement. I just don't. Are we talking about a release date as well too?
We're talking about holding the event on December 3.
Okay,
Is that a yay or nay?
I support the event December 3rd, but I just don't support
Thank you.
approving it.
Thank you. Ruth Doxey?
Yes.
Linda Gravani's a yes. Gary Kay?
Like Michael Cortez, yes.
Danica Middleton?
Yes.
Jared Negron?
Sorry, little microphone issue. Yes, and thank you everyone for your comments.
Thank you. Carol Newman?
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik?
Yes.
Linda Schwerin?
Yes.
Jim Stein?
I vote to, I'm having trouble with
It's yes or no, Jim.
yes for December 3rd.
Thank you. Okay, we've got 10 attendees and 10 yeses. It's unanimous. Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, number 18, discussion and possible action regarding a plaque for Jesse Owens Mini Park. There is a process for the City of Los Angeles Rec and Park to install a plaque, and I think that we should do that. The plaque would be installed, I would like the plaque be installed for Black History Month, which starts February 1, 2022. Lake Balboa would need to provide the verbiage and other details, and the funds could be taken from leftover money from upgrading the park, or Rec and Park said that they might be able to find funding for
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Stacy, can you mute yourself, please?
Oh, I'm sorry.
And otherwise, in the future, if we know more details, we Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council. I'm going to mute you, Miriam. Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council may have to fund it. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council, what do I want? I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council research the installation of a plaque at Jesse Owens Park.
Jared seconds.
Thank you. Discussion. Danica Middleton.
Linda, I think you said February 2022 when you.
Oh, sorry, 2023. Yeah, I apologize. Time is flying by. Was that the correction?
Yeah, that was the only thing.
Okay, thank you. Ruth Doxey.
What's the reason for the plaque? We have the park itself.
To identify who Jesse Owens was.
Okay.
Danica.
Would it be kind of like one of those plaques that you see at historical monuments where it has about 5 sentences of who he is, or is it just going to say Jesse Owens born and died, or and maybe an accomplishment of his?
It would be his actual accomplishments. The verbiage would be determined by Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council, provided to the city of Los Angeles. Jennifer?
Right, but
Oh,
is
sorry.
it like is it like a paragraph thing, or is it just a few sentences? Like how big of a plaque?
That's to be determined.
Gotcha. Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Jennifer?
I know that Katie had reached out to her contact with the Jesse Owens family to try to work out what we might want to have on there. I think it's important to identify his contribution to American society, and that would be our goal as a community.
Thank you. Nate?
Yeah, I would urge the board to vote yes on this, as as the park has a lot of great features that show in pictures Jesse Owens, the athlete. I think this is a great opportunity to show Jesse Owens, the person, and his context in history, not only back then, but how it affects young people today.
Thank you. Linda Schwerin and then Gary.
Okay, just to be clear, this motion is for researching for a plaque, right?
Correct.
Okay, as long as, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Gary, you had your hand raised?
Linda Schwerin just got the clarification I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, we're not doing anything other than saying, okay, city, what do we need to do? How do we need to make this happen? What are the steps? What are the timelines? And then request that they move forward with whatever they need to move forward with. That makes sense? Okay. No other discussion. This is number 18. Okay, Michael Cortez.
Yes.
Ruth Doxey.
Yes.
Linda is a yes. Gary Kay.
Yes.
Danica Middleton.
Yes.
Jared Negron.
Yes.
Thank you. Carol Newman.
Yes.
Thank you. Jeremy.
Yes.
Linda Schwerin.
If you tell me who the second is, and then I'll give you my yes or no.
Jared.
Thank you.
I
The
seem
answer
to
is
have
yes.
lost Jim Stein and somebody else.
Pardon?
Jim is in the attendees. Jim Stein is dropped off.
Okay,
Jim is in the attendees.
we're taking a vote. Linda Schwerin.
Yes.
Okay, and you say Jim is missing somewhere? Jim?
He's in the attendees now.
I just moved him over to panelists. He should pop up in a minute.
Jim, can you unmute
My
yourself,
vote is
Jim?
yes.
Were you here for the entire
I
discussion?
was, I could see the whole damn thing.
Jim,
Yes, I could see it, I could hear it, and my vote is yes.
okay, 10 yeses, 0 no's, motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, we're finally on number 19. Discussion and possible action regarding Council File 22-1189. Censure Nuri Martinez, Kevin De Leon, and Gil Cedillo. 1189. Okay, I'm sure everyone has heard that there's been a lot of brouhaha at City Hall, that Nuri Martinez, the city president of the city council, has stepped down as the president and also resigned. Council File 22-1189 states, under the city charter, the council's powers to suspend or remove a member are limited to specific circumstances defined therein. The power to remove members for offensive misconduct of this kind is reserved to the voters of their districts. So the best that the council can do is censure these 3 folks. I move that Lake Balboa support Council File 22-1189.
Second.
Who? Jeremy. Discussion.
Let's vote.
Okay. Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani's a yes. Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton,
Yes.
Jared Negron,
Resounding yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanic,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin.
Yes.
Jim Stein,
Yes.
unanimous 10. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Number 20, discussion and possible action regarding Council File 22-1195, censure council members Cedillo, De Leon, and Martinez. This is a similar council file. We don't know which the actual city council will vote on. So it is advisable that we vote on both because we don't know which one the city is actually going to do. And this is the motion itself. I move that the city council hereby resolve pursuant to Charter 209 to censure council members Cedillo, De Leon, Martinez for their racially insensitive and decisive statements as reported in the media, which constitute a gross failure to conform with and meet the highest standards of personal and professional conduct, even if their actions do not constitute a ground for removal from the office under the charter. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council support Council File 22-1195.
Doxy
Second.
seconds.
Ruth Doxey, you did it.
Yes.
Thank you. And Gravani made the motion. Discussion.
We have someone in the attendees list, I believe.
Gwen?
Okay, so maybe this doesn't apply now, but I'm wondering, since Nuri has resigned, we're now not represented in city council. So maybe this question comes up after this vote, but.
It does. It comes up later. This is just a censure the people that I mentioned.
All right, I'll wait till the
Thank you.
part.
Okay, let's take a vote. This is number 20. Michael Cortez,
Yes.
Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes. Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton,
Yes.
Jared Negron,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin,
Yes.
Jim Stein.
Yes.
It's unanimous, 10. Motion carries. In light of time constraints, Michael, I know that you have to leave in about 15 minutes. And I do want you to know that Danica Middleton is here, so we still have quorum. So just let me know when you need to step away, and we can still continue on with the meeting. Okay, so now we need to go to item, where's my page 1? Number 27. We're taking this out of order. We determined earlier that we would do this on the agenda for those that joined in later. Number 27, discussion and possible action regarding Martinez de Leon Cedillo conflict of interest. I'm sorry, I need to get this in order here. This is truly, in my opinion, a Brown Act violation, what they did. They were trying to determine redistricting, where they wanted the redistricting lines to go, and they were holding this meeting. I did ask one of our board members to determine if indeed it was a conflict of interest. Carol, do you want to give us your opinion or your thoughts or your whatever you came up with?
The only thing is I'm not sure it's a Brown Act violation because it wasn't a meeting of a majority of the council, nor was it, as far as we know, it wasn't a serial meeting. But I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with what they did for sure, even if it isn't a Brown Act violation.
Could it be considered a conflict of interest, do you think?
Oh, can you elaborate quickly on what your theory is there?
That they were redistricting for their benefit.
Oh, for sure.
As opposed to the benefit of the community.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. So I don't have a motion. I would like to have the board discuss with the attendees your opinions on what we should do. There is no council file that is in the system as of this time. I don't know if there's anything in the works. Jared, your comments, please.
Yeah, I would like to find, I would like us to make some kind of recommendation to the city council or directly to the city attorney to refer or to recommend that the city ethics commission, does a complete investigation on what they were doing and if they violated any ethics rules or any ethics laws, given their responsibilities and what they did and what their discussion entailed. I think there was huge ethics violations there clearly. And I think the city ethics commission should do a complete investigation and possibly, appoint a special prosecutor as the city charter says they can do. What they did was incredibly reckless, incredibly dangerous to our communities. The LA Times, I think yesterday or the day before even just published that now some of the leading Black developers in the community don't want to work on, the Angels Flight project. It's caused huge ripple effects throughout the entire city. So if there's some way, some mechanism, I think we should make that kind of recommendation to the Ethics Commission, to the city attorney, and to the city council.
No other comments? Okay, let's weave that into a motion, Jared, that we forward a resolution. You said it eloquently. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, I guess I would move that we create and forward a resolution to the city council, the city attorney, and to the city ethics commission that there is a full investigation by the Ethics Commission and the city attorney into the conduct that occurred at that meeting by all three city representatives.
Gina, did you get some of that? I second that. That was number 27. I mean, what number was that? Sorry. 27, yes. Any further discussion? Minute taker, Gina? Okay, I can't get the minute taker. Jeremy, would you check to see if you can? Carol?
Sorry, my only comment is I'm not sure the city attorney really has any power over this. The city attorney handles misdemeanors and basically lawsuits against the city or lawsuits brought by the city. I just don't know if the city attorney, I mean, I don't want us to look naive. I don't know if the city attorney really has any jurisdiction. I would certainly support the rest of it.
Well, the special prosecutor, I think, would be great. Ruth Doxey, you had your hand raised, and then Jim Stein.
Yes, so privacy laws were broken by whoever recorded this meeting, and it still hasn't been brought out who did the recording. So I think those people should be prosecuted also.
Jim Stein?
I have perhaps an answer to what you're trying to, it might be the state attorney general or something. I don't know enough about that to answer those questions. My concern is this. Do I like what happened? Of course not. But I really dislike constantly constantly forcing people out of office and then having special votes, because that would create an incredible expense on us, even if the vote were to not pass. How many millions of dollars have they spent now trying to get rid of the city district attorney here? How many millions of dollars did they spend trying to get rid of our governor? In the case of Cedillo, his term is about to end. He's about to term out. So have a special elections to fill a few months.
That's not the motion. The motion wasn't to have a special election. The motion was to have a full investigation for their conduct. We're going to have to rewrite it. Jared, would you do me a favor and just pencil in something that we can vote on specifically for the resolution?
Yeah.
Thank you. Linda Schwerin and then Danica.
I think just as this is a special note, if the neighborhood council votes to send a resolution, the resolution definitely needs to be spelled out at this meeting and exceptionally clear, because a resolution must be clear, concise, and voted on by the neighborhood council. So what we're just talking about is fine, but we need to have the exact wording, what the neighborhood.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Danica. And then Stacy.
Okay, first off, I just want to say that I do not support their meeting and what happened at the meeting. However, it's my knowledge that it's highly illegal to record someone and not have them know it. So if there's any investigation to be had, I think both sides must be investigated. Because I know if somebody recorded me and put it out on the public without my knowledge, I would be very upset.
Thank you. Stacy and then Steve Leffert.
Sorry, was I just muted the whole time? Did you hear anything? Sorry.
Didn't hear a word.
I was just going to say, okay, so the first thing I wanted to share is that number one, the verbiage is super important here that you are about to vote on. And given the fact that there is another council meeting in like a week and a half, maybe, perhaps this item, would it be appropriate to table this item for a well thought out and appropriate verbiage for the motion or whatever it is? Because I know also the city attorney is also calling for independent redistricting processes. And so maybe connecting with him to see what the push is that we could support for that might be appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Leffert.
Yeah, and I think that this should be put off to the regularly scheduled meeting that you have on the second, is it the 2nd of November coming up, to do it and work out the wording prior to that and put that up.
Steve. Steve, did you finish?
Well, I was just saying that I think this kind of discussion amongst council members goes on without being recorded and released to the public. But I think we should wait until the November 2nd meeting to put out have time to work out the wording of the motion and put it up.
Thank you.
Then.
Thank you. Linda Schwering.
I am in complete agreement with Steve Leffert's comments that this should be tabled, and if a resolution is to be presented to the neighborhood council, it should be done and have the wording exact and presented to the neighborhood council in a visual form so that the council and the stakeholders can see what the resolution is.
Thank you. Jared?
So if I'm correct, just by voting on sending a resolution today doesn't mean that we have to word it today. Is that correct?
It should really be worded today. If we don't have the actual wording to vote on it, then we should really postpone it until November meeting. Okay, let me take a vote. This will be on tabling until the November, what is it, 2nd? Is that the November 2nd meeting? Okay, Michael?
Yes.
Ruth Doxey?
Yes.
Linda Gravani's a yes. Gary Kay?
Yes.
Danica Middleton?
Yes.
Jared,
Yes.
sorry, Jared. Okay, thank you. Carol Newman?
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanic?
Good idea, yes.
Linda Schwering?
Yes.
Jim Stein?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, this is tabled.
Linda, I just want to let you know I'm going to be leaving the meeting. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Oh, okay,
or
thank you.
Weekend, everybody.
It's 11:45. Would the secretary please show that Michael Cortez has left the meeting? Okay, number 28. Discussion and possible action regarding an independent redistricting commission to redraw the current council district map not appointed by city officials, and no veto power. Is this something that we want to hold off until the November 2nd meeting as well? Linda Schwerin?
My understanding is that the wheels are already turning and this is already in progress without us having to do anything. And if the council wishes to, I certainly would say table it till November.
How are the wheels in progress?
Well, perhaps it's fake news, but I have heard on the news that there is, whoever it is in the city council has started a movement to go ahead and do independent redistricting because of the abuse that's existed with redistricting in 2021.
Okay, thank you. Jared?
I think that's my understanding as well. I think for this one, the reason I wanted to move it up was so that we could talk about potentially creating a resolution to add to the next meeting about what our opinion for that movement should look like, since we now no longer have a representative on the city council either. You know, whether or not we agree with how they're moving forward on those issues. And if we want a say in how they're moving forward on those issues, since we no longer have someone in city council and all those things, do we want to put forward some kind of resolution that, you know, says how our neighborhood council feels and how we, you know, address, or how we feel they're addressing it? And do we agree with that? Or do we want, you know, our say and our opinion included in that or not? Is sort of my viewpoint on that. Should we put forth a community impact statement, something like that, that we want to talk about next?
Well, we can do that. We can discuss it. We can discuss it now because it is on the agenda on what we would like, or we could discuss it then. If we want to just discuss it today without making a motion, we can do that. Steve Leffert?
Yeah, I think you really want to make sure that the independent redistricting commission includes people from the areas that are losing their board members, particularly, in other words, have somebody representing Lake Balboa in terms of having input to this commission where the lines are drawn. So we don't end up with Lake Balboa ending in, you know, 2 different or 3 different districts at once, as we were for a short while.
Did you raise your hand again, Steve, or did you think you were lowering it?
I thought I was lowering it. You already,
Okay.
you did that, I think.
No. Carol Newman?
I think we could vote on this. It's a fairly narrow issue, and I think it's well presented in the agenda. I don't think we need to postpone this till November 2nd. That's just my outlook. Thank you.
So we need a motion. Carol, do you want to wordsmith a motion real quick?
Sorry, I couldn't unmute again. Yes, I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council issue a CIS supporting the creation of an independent redistricting commission to redraw the current council district map, not appointed by city officials with no veto, and city officials having no veto power over it.
Danica Middleton seconds.
Okay, this is 28. It's Carol and Danica. Further discussion? Okay, let's take a vote. Michael Cortez has left. Ruth Doxey?
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes. I'm going to mute you, Danica. Sorry, Gary Kay?
Yes.
Danica Middleton?
Yes.
Thank you. Uh, Jared Negron,
Yes.
thank you. Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwerin,
Yes.
Jim Stein,
Yes.
thank you. 9, motion carries. Okay, now we move back to number 21. Discussion and possible action regarding Cedillo and De Leon, should they step down from LA City Council. The only way that they can be removed is if the community removes them because they are elected. It's unlike neighborhood councils where we can be censured and just kicked off at the whim of Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. That was a little dig. So the electeds have to be physically removed by their constituents. But I do think it would be good to voice our opinion because we can. Any discussion? Jared.
I think we all know how I feel about this one.
Really?
They should absolutely step down. I think we should issue a strong statement. It can be one sentence, but they should absolutely step down. And I believe one or both of them are close to ending their term anyways.
Cedillo.
And it's too close to have an election anyways to replace, given the way the charter is phrased anyways. So there's nothing to do to replace them anyways. Should step down, should accept responsibility, and should just go away and retire somewhere pleasant with a tropical environment and just leave us all alone. That's my viewpoint. I'll stop talking.
Thank you. Jim Stein.
I'm going to lower my hand.
No comment. I heard that De Leon said he needs to stay because he needs to represent his constituents. Well, he hasn't done a good job of it if indeed he participated in the shenanigans of that meeting. And just because he thinks that he should be able to give his council district a voice doesn't mean it should be his voice. That's my opinion. Any other further discussion? No. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council forward a community impact statement requesting that Cedillo and De Leon step down from the city council.
Second.
Okay, Gravani made the motion, and was it you, Carol?
Ooh.
Thank you. All right. Ruth Doxey.
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes. Gary Kay.
Yes.
Danica Middleton.
Yes.
Jared Negron.
Yes.
Carol Newman.
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik.
Yes.
Linda Schwerin.
Abstain.
Jim Stein.
Staying.
Thank you. 7 yes, 2 abstentions. Motion carries. Thank you. It's not my puppy. Number 22, discussion and possible action regarding the caretaker of CD6. Gwen, are you still with us? Yes, this is the item. We've heard from several of our board members mention that CD6 no longer has a voice because we don't have representation at city council. City council can vote to have a caretaker, in quotes, and the caretaker would be handling the office daily routines, but we still have no voice until city council determines who that voice would be. I believe Nori has, 2 years left on her term. I think it would be the next election. So we would have 2 years of no voice or a voice of someone we know nothing about. So I would like to move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council have a voice in selecting the caretaker of Council District 6.
Danica Middleton, second.
Forget that for just a second. I remove that. I don't want a caretaker. I want Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council to have a, I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council have a
Special election.
voice in the selection of the Council District 6 representative.
Danica Middleton, second.
Thank you. Discussion. Gwen, this was what you were talking about before. I'm going to ask you for your voice.
No, I mean, I go
Excuse me.
along with that motion. I was just concerned and I wasn't sure what the process was when a city council person resigns, and what our options were. What are our alternatives for getting the a representative on city council for our area?
So again, city council will select a caretaker, and the caretaker will handle the office routine, the things that happen in the office, the schedules, the people, and determining what happens. They have no vote at city council at all until that person is replaced. But city council will determine who that person would be. I would like us to, in CD6, I think there's like six or seven neighborhood councils within Council District 6. We should all have a voice in who's representing us.
Absolutely. And so could we put forth a recommendation on who that person might be? Is that what you're saying?
Know that when they decide that, okay, here's X, Y, and Z, or maybe it's just X, shall we vote for that person or not? I think we should be able to identify whether we want that person representing us or not, whether it's one person or 3 or 4 or whatever. Gina, you have your hand raised. Our minute
Yes,
taker.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you
Yes,
hear me?
Gina. Yes.
Okay, great. I just want to get clarification on the motion. Move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council have a voice in CD6 representative selection. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stacy Rotter.
Thank you. I'm wondering if that helps clarify my question, because as I understand, the Legislative Analyst's Office was already appointed as the temporary caretaker. So I was wondering if we need to differentiate and address that we want to have input in, a permanent selection.
Yes, I rephrased the caretaker part.
Well, no, my differentiating point is more about, because someone has been selected already, but this is a temporary selection. So I think you want to have input in the permanent appointment of someone. So I
correct the permanent representative, the person to vote for Lake Balboa. Yes, and
so
CD6 totally. Jim Stein.
Yeah, this really concerns me. I read about this, and this caretaker who they put in there, who I know nothing about, so I don't know if I'm going to say anything good or bad against them, cannot make any decisions. Basically, all they do is make sure the bills get paid. And we're talking a couple of years here. We have a lot of concerns. We have a lot of things we tried to get done over a year, and to say, well, over 2 years, we can't get anything done. Oh my goodness. I don't need to tell you. We need somebody who can do more than pay bills. We need someone who can listen to our needs.
And that will happen with or without this motion. That will happen. City Council will do that. What we're just trying to do is have a voice in that selection process.
Right, but
Ca-
the person that they've put in there can't make decisions. They pay the bills. If something really serious comes along, they take it back to the council president, who we didn't vote for,
Correct.
and he
Correct.
decides whether or not this is really a concern of ours. He
Correct.
decides.
And in the next week or 2 or 3, city council will appoint somebody to vote for council district 6. So what the motion is that we want to have a say in who that person is that's going to vote for CD6,
Yes,
not the
absolutely.
caretaker.
Thank you.
Yeah. Linda Schwerin?
Could you please ask the minute taker to reread the exact motion as was stated?
Gina?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council have a voice in CD6 representative selection.
Too vague.
I think so too.
Okay. Spiff it up.
Can I suggest
Carol?
something? I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council resolve or issue a resolution that when a voting representative is appointed for CD6 in the interim, pending the next election, that the voting representative be appointed with our input, that we be allowed to have input into the selection of that voting representative.
I couldn't
Can you
write that
repeat that,
fast.
please?
Yeah.
Well, this is the problem with doing these things on the fly. All right, I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council pass a resolution that when a voting representative for CD6 is appointed, that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council have input into the selection of that person.
Okay, give me just a moment.
For clarity, forgive, you can't say when they're appointed. You have say, you have to say you want say in their appointment.
So what I have is I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council craft a resolution when a vote for the representative for CD6 is appointed, that the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council have input into that selection.
That's the idea. If somebody can put it better, it's I wouldn't object.
Okay, Carol made the motion, Gravani seconds. Which number was that? 22, sorry. Stacy, is your hand raised again?
No.
Thank you. That takes care of it. Any other discussion? Let's take a vote. Michael is gone. Ruth Doxey?
Yes.
Linda Gravani's a yes. Gary Kay?
Yes.
Danica Middleton?
Yes.
Jared Negron?
Yes.
Carol Newman?
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik?
Yes.
Linda Schwerin?
Yes.
Jim Stein?
Yes.
9 yeses, motion carries. Thank you very much. And we'll clarify that from the recording. Number 23 and number 24 are actually moot points. that we could skip, we could table, because this was asking that Nuri Martinez step down, which is Council File 221192, as City Council President. And that their number 24, Council File 22-1193, is to fill that seat for the President of City Council. And that's already been done. It's Paul Krikorian, and it was a unanimous vote. So he is now the City Council President. So we will table number 23 and number 24. Now it's already 12:06, but number 25 and number 26, we can hold off to the November 2nd meeting if we would like. Number 25 is Council File 221196, Charter Reform on the ballot. We've had 15 council members since 1925. When the city's population was 1 million, and it's now 4 million residents. So this we could leave for discussion at our November 2nd meeting if we would like. It's nothing that's hot that needs to be addressed today. And since it is a special meeting and the full board isn't here, it might be wise to do that. Linda Schwerin?
Yeah, let me step back just one moment to number 23 and 24. Since those items no longer apply, is it correct to say that we're going to table these items?
Yes.
Or omit them because they no
Table.
longer apply?
Well, we're not gonna do them. So whether we table it or skip it, it's
In other words,
semantics.
is it up for consideration? Excuse me, up for consideration at a later time?
No,
Or it's a moot point?
it's a done deal. That's correct.
Okay, so then it should be not applicable. Rather than.
Okay, so we're on number 25. Do we want to table this also for November 2nd? Because it really is an item that needs to be researched and discussed. Okay, 25 is also, that's going to be tabled. So I'm going to put a T for tabled. Thank you. I know we have nothing else to do today, right? Number 26, this is also something that we could table for a future meeting. It's discussion of possible action regarding Council File 221197, which is to convene a new ad hoc committee on governance reform. And that's a heavy duty item also that I think the entire board should be able to weigh in on. So I would like to recommend that we table that as well. Anyone opposed to that? Tabled. Moving right along, number 27 and 28, we've already taken care of. Thank you so much. Number 29, discussion and possible action regarding Ron Herrera, past president of the LA County Federation of Labor. That I would lump into the resolution that we had previously about prosecuting folks for the redistricting. I'm not sure what we can do, what we should do with him, but I just thought we should mention him in our agenda. That shame on you, Ron. So do we want to skip this one as well? Anyone opposed to tabling this to a future date or no future date? Perfect, thank you. Okay, this one we need to vote on. Council, number 30, council discussion of possible action regarding Council File 221146, Department of Neighborhood Empowerment DUNS issues with community impact statements. What has happened in the past is that community impact statements that go to general managers and to commissioners go through the portal, the same portal that the city council and the city council committees community impact statements go through, except city clerk handles the city council and the city council committees community impact statements, council files. Department of Neighborhood Empowerment handles the general managers and the commissioners. Their email addresses to their departments. Some of them have not been updated since 2007. So when we sent forward a community impact statement, for example, on land use, it went nowhere. I know it takes a moment to think about that. It went nowhere. So all the work and all the time and all the effort spent on putting together our thoughts, our wishes, our desires on these items, they went nowhere. And it was quite a surprise to done. And it was found out quite by accident by a board member at Reseda Neighborhood Council. So this council file is an official. We've discussed it before, but this one is, and I'll just read it really quickly. I therefore move that the City Council instruct the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment to report back in 45 days on the status of the Community Impact Statement portal, including the issues that led to numerous community impact statements not being transmitted, the length of time the errors were present in the system, the list of city commissions that were impacted by not having the correct email configurations on the portal, the number of community impact statements that were not transmitted as intended by the neighborhood councils, and the steps that have been taken to remedy the issue and prevent this from happening again in the future. I further move that the City Council instruct the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment with the assistance of the Information Technology Agency to report back in 45 days on the necessary technological upgrades needed on the Community Impact Statement portal to ensure that the submission of community impact statements are as seamless and streamlined as possible, and the technical issues of this sort will not arise again in the future. So I move that Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council support Council File 221146.
Doxy seconds.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's the number of this one? Number 30. Okay, LG and Doxy. Thank you. Discussion. Thank you. Let's vote. Ruth Doxy.
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes. Gary Kay.
Yes.
Danica Middleton.
Yes.
Jared Negron.
Yes.
Thank you. Carol Newman.
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik.
Yes.
Linda Schwerin.
Yes.
Jim Stein.
Yes.
9 yeses, motion carries. Thank you. Closing in on it, folks. Thank you so much. Number 31, budget. Discussion of possible action regarding the September 2022 monthly expense report. Linda Schwerin.
Am I back?
Yes.
I guess. Okay. Board members and those present should have had a chance to review the September 2022 MER, better known as monthly expense report. I move that Lake Balboa approve the September 2022 MER.
Second.
Jim, was that you?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Linda Schwerin made the motion. Jim Stein seconded. Discussion? Stacy?
Just to clarify for Linda, the community does not get access to see that before the meeting. We see it on the flip side in the minutes.
I would make a comment on that. These MER reports are posted by Lake Balboa to our website. So they are public and they're available for everyone to view.
But separate from the agenda. Thank you for clarifying.
Someone could
Okay.
screen share it. Sorry.
Not necessary for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's take a vote. Ruth Doxy?
Yes.
Linda Gravani is a yes. Gary Kay?
Yes.
Danica Middleton?
Yes.
Jared Negron?
Yes.
Carol Newman?
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik?
Yes.
Linda Schwerin?
Yes.
Jim Stein?
Yes.
Okay, 9 approved. Thank you. Motion carries. Number 32, budget discussion and possible action regarding budget updates. Linda Schwerin?
Oh, you're moving so fast. Okay.
Yeah, we need to.
I know we do, because the time is getting late. All right, with regard to the budget, Lake Balboa NC, as well as other neighborhood councils, were to have received reconciliation for fiscal year 2021, 2022, and the amount of rollover that would be available to apply to our current budget. As of this week and communications with the city clerk, apologies. These reports have not been completed and they are not currently available. And so therefore, this is what I would like to do. Our council is allowed to use an estimated amount based on end of the month or end of the fiscal year balance in June of 2022. So I propose to schedule a meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee so that we can review this estimated amount of money, which is, I'm going to say approximately $9,000, so that we can discuss how to redistribute these amounts of money and provide a revised budget request at the November meeting if possible.
Do you have an idea of when you want to meet?
No, I do not. I was waiting for a reception for my comments.
Well, since it's the executive committee that would be the meeting body, and that's the first and second presidents, the secretary, the treasurer, and president. So those are the folks that would need to be at the meeting, and not all of us are here today. So you can call the meeting since it's an ad hoc meeting.
True. And this does not, it depends on whether the council feels that it's imperative that this is presented at the November 2nd meeting. I don't believe it's that imperative because we do not have any critical expenditures coming up between now and the November meeting. So
Okay, so we can table that for now as well.
so you've got the report, and yes, we can schedule it for later.
Thank you. Number 33, funding, discussion and possible action regarding the budget of Jesse Owens Park event. Jim Stein?
I'd like to make a motion to reaffirm the up to $4,000 for the Jesse Owens grand opening event.
You have the funds that was voted on previously. Why are you reaffirming?
Discussion, I thought it was important to reaffirm that we're still going to do it, but we're just moving the date out.
Did you have a date on the finances in the past?
I think we did.
We need to know.
Do you know whether we did, Linda? I don't know.
I can look it up.
Okay, so we'll reaffirm. Gravani seconds. 33. Stein and Gravani. Any discussion? Ruth
Yes.
Doxey?
I just want to make sure he says Jesse Owens Mini Park.
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Linda Schwerin?
I think this is also important motion that Jim brought up because Department of Neighborhood Empowerment questioned the initial passing of the budget for this particular effort. And by reviewing it again, the fact that our committee has done it, this should completely satisfy whatever issues or questions Department of Neighborhood Empowerment would have had.
Okay, thank you. Jared?
What are they questioning, Linda?
That's
Do we
addressed.
know?
They question everything, Jared.
Or Jim?
They questioned the fact that there didn't seem to be enough elaboration or discussion with regard to the Jesse Owens Park event in order to make a motion to approve funds for the event, which actually is inaccurate and in my view does not apply. So this is just a covering our assets to make sure that the up to $4,000 that was approved previously has been reaffirmed in James Stein's motion.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take a vote. This is actually item number 33. Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Linda Gravani's a yes. Gary Kay.
I have a question.
Who's I?
The minute taker.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, was it an amendment by Ruth Doxey to add mini park for Jesse Owens mini park? Was that a correction or is that a typo or how are we handling that?
Well, as I mentioned earlier in the meeting, the city of Los Angeles has a Jesse Owens Park. To the San Fernando Valley Rec and Park people, this is Jesse Owens Park. If you look on the website, it says Jesse Owens Mini Park. So
So
both
for the
are
motion,
correct.
do you want me to put mini park on there for the motion so there's no confusion?
Ruth, is that what you wanted?
Yeah, since there's.
Wait a second, Jim. Ruth, is that what you wanted?
Yes, so it says, yes, so the.
Okay, so we want to add mini park. Thank you, Gina.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's all right. So let me go back. Ruth Doxey,
Yes.
Gravani still a yes. Gary Kay,
Yes.
Danica Middleton,
Yes.
Jared Negron,
Yes.
Carol Newman,
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik,
Yes.
Linda Schwering,
Yes.
Jim Stein.
Yes.
Thank you. 9 yeses, motion carries. Thank you very much. Number 34, funding. Discussion of possible action regarding the expenditure of up to $200 for Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council election flyers. Linda Schwering.
Am I unmuted? Yes. Okay. Great, my notes are gone. Here we go. This should be very simple. I move Lake Balboa NC approve an expenditure up to $200 for printing of Lake Balboa NC election 2023 flyers.
Gravani seconds. Linda Schwering made the motion. Gravani seconded. Discussion. Let's have an election. Okay. Ruth Doxey.
Yes.
Danica's got a
Oh,
comment.
Danica, you have your hand up?
Yes, I do. Okay, so question, are these 8.5 by 11 flyers? Are these postcards? Because I'm wondering if $200 will be enough and where will they be distributed to?
There ain't, I'm sorry, who's the question of?
I can answer that. I can answer that question. This is something that is preliminary. This is more of a informational thing for people, stakeholders in the community to become aware of what we're doing. The plan is to distribute these at the next event, to put them on our website, and also to have them available to, well, Michael's not here, but also to make sure that they are on social media. We have a draft of a preliminary flyer, which is really quite generic, and I might, Jim, is it okay if I share that?
If you have it, certainly.
Let's see if I can make this bigger. Okay. All right, just a quick question. I'm sharing the screen and selecting the item, right? Oops, it just disappeared. Okay.
While she's doing that, Jim, do you have a comment?
Yes, it's important to note that we've been trying and trying and trying to get specific dates from Dunn, and unable, being that we were unable to do that, we came out with this generic flyer template so that we could put something up in the meantime. We don't want to wait till the last minute.
What specific dates are you referring to?
The dates that would be available, or that for potential, for people who are potentially interested, would be, could apply for the position, et cetera.
You're talking about candidates?
For candidates, there's about a
Okay,
there's about a
thank you.
6-week period, and we don't know that yet.
Okay, Linda?
So has everybody had a chance to take a look at what's on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, then we won't share that anymore. This is only a draft of a sample. And again, that's basically just to get the word out and make people aware that there will be an election. Following the election committee, we'll get more detailed. We'll have filing dates and put advances on getting people involved so that we can try and get candidates to run for our neighborhood council.
Jared?
Just more, I think, to the other point is what are the sizes that we're hoping to get for these flyers? Are we looking at like a postcard? Is there a more efficient way, I think, to distribute these? Can we get these in mailboxes? It may require, I think, more money, but is there a more widespread way to get these out to, the Lake Balboa community?
Oh, excuse me, again, this is something that is strictly preliminary. Our election is in June of 2023. So we're really not narrowing down or zeroing in at this particular point in time. What you saw on your screen is an 8.5 by 11. It's something that we would be able to distribute and also do generically on the website and whatever our outreach chair would like to do. As far as the rest of expense and printing and distribution of outreach tools for the election, those are yet to be determined. There may be postcards that we could send out. I think it depends on the budget and whether or not we decide to use Every Door Direct or we're going to stick with social media. That remains to be seen, and you'll get the report from the election committee, likely in December.
I'm going to cut.
Yeah, I have to tell you.
Okay, so now we have more hands. Okay.
Let me-
Jim and then Gary.
This is very important. Neighborhood councils were supposed to have new tools and information for outreach and promoting the 2023 elections in August. That hasn't happened. I've been doing follow-ups, not the city clerk, because the city clerk is not involved in this. They're involved in the election. We're involved with Department of Neighborhood Empowerment to promote and have an effective election. So we're going to just start doing these things on our own and create what's necessary. And hopefully by November, we will get the tools we need and the items that were promised to neighborhood councils for effective elections within the next few weeks.
Thank you. Jim Stein and then Gary is the last.
Yes, we have a specific budget for the election committee. We haven't had a meeting yet because we were waiting for that information that Linda just mentioned. But we want to get something going because we're going to have an event here shortly. And we wanted to be able to distribute some of this stuff at the event. And so we want something to work with, so we know what we can get for $200, and $200, actually less than $200 would give us all we need for that event, so we could at least get something going. Now, we've had a lot of experience, not just us, but everyone on this on the neighborhood council has had a lot of experience with door to door and everyday direct and everything else. And so we've had good experiences and we've had bad experiences. And when we finally meet, we will take those good experiences and bad experiences and we will make a final decision. This money is so that we can get started with this upcoming event. That's what we're at.
Gary?
I know this is just a draft of the flyer, but I'd like to suggest that for this and any other flyers that we always try to incorporate the QR code that Jeremy designed that is available. Thank you.
Good idea.
Okay, Danica, you're last, and we really need to end the meeting.
I'm just wondering why this isn't coming out of the previously voted on election funds.
It is.
It is, you have to identify where the funds specifically go. So there's X amount for the big budget, and now you have to chip away at it. So we're chipping.
Okay, okay. I understand now. Thank you.
Thank you. That's why the city clerk gets involved and has to okay everything, just like with Jim's Jesse Owens Park. They're saying, well, all right, you have X amount of dollars, but how are you going to spend it? You didn't tell me exactly how much you were going to spend. Anyway, long story short, let's take a vote. Ruth Doxey?
Yes.
Linda Gravani's a yes. Gary Kay?
Yes.
Danica Middleton?
Yes.
Jared Negron?
Yes, Linda and Jim, thanks for clarifying everything.
You're welcome. Carol Newman?
Yes.
Jeremy Pisanik?
Yes.
Linda Schwerin?
Yes.
Jim Stein?
Yes.
9 yeses, motion carries. Thank you very much. Number 35, thank you, Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council watch captains and board members. I really, really, really appreciate your taking your Saturday to come to this special meeting. There were some hot topics that actually cooled down, so we didn't have to cover everything, but I really do appreciate all that you do for our community behind the scenes. So thank you very much. It is now 12:33. I'm adjourning the meeting. Thank you. Enjoy the weekend.
Good afternoon. Whatever it is.
Bye.
Hi.
Bye, Steve.
Hi.
Linda?